Hey friends, today I'm going to show you some of the things that I've learned so far, some of my lessons learned, things that I will repeat, and so forth. I'm going to take you to the garden beds. A lot of the things I've never grown before and I've never paired together, so this is very new, and surprisingly I don't have too many fails, but I do have some, so I'll get to show you what those are and all the things that I will definitely repeat again. So here we go. We'll get started with this bed. This is the bed that is right next to our patio, our fire pit, and we sit here a lot, and I wanted this, especially since we see it from the living room, to be a focal point. The idea was to have the flowering kale here, some trellis nasturtiums out, and then up on top those get tall so you could see the snapdragons and the blue Victoria salvia, and then you had a mixture of colors, purple, blue, pink. The only thing is that it's starting to look very crowded. The broccoli here became two broccolis in one. If you can zoom in here, we'll see, and it's really big. I mean, see, if you can put my whole arm, it's very big, and I only have 2 feet here of a distance, so it takes up most of the bed. If I stand on this side, you can see how there's not much room for anything else. I did, however, plant some cilantro here, and it's doing really good, even though it's getting some shade. I will come in here and probably cut this off so it can get a little bit more sun, but overall, I mean, it's not doing bad, so I think it's a good spot for it anyways. And another thing over here is I do really love these snapdragons and the blue Victoria salvia here. I think they are beautiful. However, I think I should have added some more because it doesn't look like it's getting full. I don't know if it'll get full later, but there's a lot of gaps, but you know, they're filling in, and I think they are definitely a must for next year. They do need supports here. They're very long and lengthy, and the wind just hits it really hard here, so I've had to put supports on all of these, and you can see here are my supports there. And then everything else seems to be doing good. I did get attacked by some caterpillars, so they've been chewing away. You can tell that it's been chewing away at it. Look at that. And it's everywhere. Like, I mean, I think I had like 30 of them at one point. Okay, I'm gonna move on this side of the house because my neighbor is weed eating and it's very loud, so sorry about that. So back here, this is where I would say these 2 beds right here are the ones that get the least amount of sun. So I knew that one was perfect for the lettuce, but I was really trying something else here. Honestly, I thought all of this area didn't get much sun at all, but no, this area gets a good 6 hours of sun, and then this one over here I would say gets about 4 to 5 hours of sun. But look how it's doing. I think it's doing great. Now I'll explain the gap here, but I even added some watermelon, and it's thriving. This is a potato vine from the compost. If you go back to my first videos of the garden beds, this is just like one little tiny piece, and look, it's loving it there. This is my compost that's just finished, so it's just sitting there for now. My zucchini here, even though it was attacked, it's growing. There's the other one over here, but now it's getting shaded, so I don't think it's gonna do well. But you see all of this? I used my own compost in these 2 beds, this one and this one, and there's so much growing that I don't know where I actually put my seeds here. And I put some lavender seeds here, and there's actually some potato seeds in here. That's why this is blank, and because it's my compost and I didn't do the hot compost, you get all of this, which is starting to look like a little jungle. And I'm actually afraid to pull them because I don't know what's growing. I know I planted this. This is cucumber. It's doing okay. This is a nasturtium that came out of the compost. And I just put this one in here. And in this area, I put my leftover potatoes. So I have potatoes in a few spots. Here, here, and just a little bit there because I harvested my radishes. So I just put them in here and we'll just see what happens. But look at the difference. We have growth, and I have sunflowers that are almost gonna bloom. And I really, really like the sunflowers here at the end of the beds. That's one of the things that I will probably repeat a lot, is all the sunflowers that I put. And they haven't even bloomed yet, but they're doing so good, and I really love them because they're so tall and they do really well against the fence, especially because I don't get that much sun against the fence. I get a lot of shade, and they're actually doing really well. And I put sunflowers everywhere. I did sunflowers here, and I think because, okay, so if we come back on this side, because I didn't talk about everything here, this is tomato, and look at the tomato. I mean, we've got some really large tomatoes growing in here. Look, I mean, we've got some tomatoes. Here's another one that are growing really, really well here. And because they get so massive and bushy, I think next year I'm gonna make this my tomato area instead of that corner over here. Because if I come over here to where I have my tomatoes, this is the view that you see when you walk in from here, from our entrance. And hope I don't get you dizzy. But you see, it just looks very bushy. It doesn't look as appealing. So I think next year I'm definitely going to add all the tiny tomatoes. I do like the tiny tomatoes here, but all of the large tomatoes, I'm definitely going to switch them over to that side over there, because it's been real successful here. This is dill, and it looks like it's doing okay. I have dill in 2 spots here and more of the shaded area, and look at the difference. This is the shaded area, and I think it loves this area more. So dill can do well in shaded, not so well in a lot of sun. At least for me, it didn't do well here. The celery is doing really good. I added some zinnias in the back, which I'm really afraid of because these are giant zinnias, and I didn't know what that meant. And I'll show you over there on that side. You see them peeking. They're very giant. I love these zinnias, but they are massive. So I think they're gonna overcrowd the celery, and I'm gonna have to do something about it. We'll just see. This is just a trial, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing, and another lessons learned there. Cucumber's doing well. Right now it needs some watering. It looks like it's getting pretty hot here. And these are nasturtiums. No, sorry, this is marigolds. They're doing super good. And look at my other cilantro. See the difference between here and in the front? It really liked it here. And I also added in some cucumber that looks like it's doing okay. Sorry, not cucumber. Gosh, I get those mixed. This is watermelon. What else? Over here, I seeded the rest of the potatoes, and I'm not sure how they're gonna do because since it's the first year of the raised beds, that's when they settled, and for some reason on this side of the bed it just dips lower, so the water trails on that side, and it's not good to have potatoes really wet. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, but you know, we're giving it a try. And you can tell the elevation, it just runs down here. But I have potatoes here. I had radishes and I already harvested them and they did so good here. These are beets and they didn't do well at all. Melons are over down the side. Carrots are doing great and I love them here. They're really, really good. But they will get tall, so that means somewhere over here I need to have the same height plant so it doesn't shade. Over here, strawberries, I definitely would probably bring strawberries in that are more established. Some of them made it through. If I don't shade them, some of these made it through, some of them didn't. So I don't have anything in here, and I really thought I was gonna have more strawberries. So I'm gonna have to just plant something else here. These are doing okay. I really do like them. Maybe I'll try those over on this side here next year. Really wanted to try some there. All the lettuces are doing really good, and I added some begonias and some coleus to give it some a different color. That's one thing I didn't do better, is the color in this bed. The red cabbage, these two are doing so good. And this is another bed where the water just kind of moved the seeds everywhere. So I have snapdragons. Yeah, I have snapdragons, you know, in between the lettuce here. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but maybe they'll grow. And then some stayed where they were supposed to. See, spinach didn't do good. It automatically bolted, so I have to pull those out. But the lettuce is doing fabulous. I really, really love it, and I love the look. I'm definitely gonna do designs like this every single time. And the new lettuce that I planted is also doing really well. Here's the other side. See this, you see over here, the shaded is doing much better than the one that is not as shaded. These are struggling a bit. And let's see what else. These watermelons are doing really good. This is the area that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with yet. Everything is growing really well here. So I think I might just add a small bed or leave the container gardening, but I will also change the compost. I'm gonna add the compost on this side so it's not our focal point at the very end there. It just doesn't look good, and I want something really nice, maybe like a bench and some more pots. So that's another lessons learned, because I moved that one twice. Everything about this bed is doing really well, and look at the sunflowers here. The next video I post is gonna be the June tour, so I'll talk about all of the varieties later. All the peppers are doing really well. I added some coleus because I had the same thing here, is I wanted some more color, and I think those were good additions because they should trail out. We come over here, my watermelon and cantaloupe is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to trail out and go along the edges, and look at it. I think it's doing really well. And then it's even growing a lot on the end over here that has shade. I mean, look at the size of the leaves in comparison to these here. I mean, it doesn't compare. Those are just really large leaves compared to here. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, I thought that they needed full sun. So maybe the two-part, you know, part sun, part shade is doing well. The zucchini and squash, they look like they're doing okay. Squash is taking a little bit longer to grow because I planted these at the same time. But I think at some point it should trail out, and I think it should do good. So on the tomato side, I'm definitely going to move them next year. I think it's just so bushy here. But I still love it. I love everything about it, and it just looks a little crazy. Let me show you real quick on the tomatillos. I have 3 tomatillo plants here, and I never expected them to grow this big. But if you look down here, it starts from here, and look at this one arm. I mean, it's going all the way over here. It's taking up this entire bed. It's very massive. I have another one, the small one, that's somewhat trailing over. But of all these flowering buds, I only have only one that has set fruit. So I'm not sure what's happening. There's so much here, and the only one is fruiting. The marigolds, these are giant marigolds, which also adds the very bushiness to it. I didn't think that these were this big. I love them. I think they're gorgeous, but they're just so caught up in there that you don't really see them very well. They don't stand out. So I'm definitely going to change that. And then see those tomatoes? They're doing so well in the shade. I don't understand. I have so many tomatoes. So many. They're everywhere. I'm so happy because I love tomatoes. My family really doesn't. Ooh, look, one just split there. I'll have to take that one out. But let's just harvest one because I want a snack. Best snacks ever. I love this combination. I think I would have loved to have this one over there on that side because it's not too much, and this is so in uniform that it just draws your attention to it. And then one focal point there, which this is a cauliflower. In here I think everything is doing okay. The peppers are doing, look, I have this is a bell pepper. This is Brussels sprouts. I think I should have started Brussels sprouts indoors. And the lavender struggled, I think because it was just too wet, or there was just too much wind here. Everything had a little bit of stress there. This cabbage is really ready to be harvested, but it breaks my heart to do it because it's so gorgeous, and I don't know what else to put in here if I take it off. Nasturtium, this has become a perennial for me because it just came back, and I cut it and clean it, and it comes back. So I think I really like that there. Now the zinnias. Look at my giant zinnias. I'm just gonna let you see these because they are so gorgeous. There are 9 zinnia plants here, and look what they did. This is I grew these indoors, and I didn't think that they would do this because if you notice, they're really hiding my onions and they're shading them. So I hope they do okay. This is my cut flower garden. I'm cutting them and I'm putting them in a vase inside, and can you believe that these last quite a while inside? I was super surprised because they're gorgeous and they're lasting in the inside, so I get to enjoy them inside as well. And I truly love the onions, the look of it, how they're growing. I mean, look at this onion. It just gives me so much joy to see them and their progress. I snuck in a watermelon in here, and it looks like it's doing okay. All of this that's heading in this direction is just gonna go. I think I'm just gonna cut them and put them inside. So I put 9 here. Let me take you over here to this bed where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. The same amount of plants. Do you see the problem I'm gonna have soon? Look at this one. It's my first one that's gonna bloom. These are from seed. So another thing is these are directly seated here, and those over there are grown indoors. Which leads me to the next point is, if I can grow more things indoors, my garden would look so much bigger right now. I think next year I'm definitely gonna add another shelf to grow twice as what I was able to grow indoors this time. I think I can do it, and I think it would be amazing to put that much more in the garden. And if we're coming back over here, one thing I do want to say is that I did stake these tiny tomatoes I think about a month ago because they were standing up straight, and I didn't think they would get this massive. They were standing up straight and the winds just broke off. Look, you see, it broke off a limb. And so I tried to keep it. It was dangling over on this side. It was shading all of these plants. This is new, but it was shading these and damaging them. So then I took off the support and I just let this one just kind of troll over. This one did it naturally, and you see the difference. There's no snapping. It's doing really good, and it doesn't have the damage this one does. So that has a lot of scar tissue and actually splits over here. Okay, you see what it's doing? So it has a very large cut. But overall, it's doing really good, both of these. And I did the same over here. These are directly seated, and look at the difference. These are just little babies. But I'm gonna do the same thing for them as well. I'm just gonna let it trail out. And it's probably going to block a little bit of the walkway, but I'm done moving the wheelbarrow and stuff here, so it's just us walking, and it's okay. Over on this bed, I just put my potato seeds in here, and there's not much action going on. So that's another thing as well, is that it is the very focal point, and I don't have anything here. I wish I would have maybe put the potatoes in another spot, because I got these back ordered and it's just an empty bed. And you'd be surprised. I mean, look at this one. This one also came from the compost, and look how well it's doing. The other potato that I pulled from there didn't really do well at all after all. But look at this one. And this is last year's. I threw it in the compost and it stayed alive, and I pulled it and put it in several places. That's one there, and then over here I have the other one. I have another one there. Marigolds, oh my gosh, I love them, I love them, and I love them. Now, when I look at the zinnias and then I look over here, I notice that I don't have too much pink. And I really like the pink, and I think next year I'm going to do something more pink on this side. It's the reason why I added the coleus in there, to give it a different tone. I do have a lot of green. There's green everywhere. So when you have a hint of color, it just makes it so much more better. You see the difference? It's gorgeous. That's it. I really wanted to give you some pointers, some of my up-to-date lessons learned, and some of the things I truly love. And then I had a burp. I hope you're enjoying your garden. I hope this inspires you if you haven't started a garden. And I hope you still stick around and watch it grow. And it's just the beginning. Midsummer, more like July, I think it will be twice as big. I'm hoping. So stay tuned. Every month I'll do a tour so you get to see the progress, and I get to learn with you together. So thank you for all the advice, and thank you for sticking around. Hey friends, today